Thank you, please. I call. Tell me what you want.
Good morning, and welcome to another beautiful Saturday here in the United States Virgin Islands, of course, Florida Island.
Oh,
So I just want to say good morning to my listening audience in Frederickstead, Christiansted, Charlotte Amalie, St. Thomas, St. John, Water Island,
It is
Tortura,
nice.
good morning to all of you. Actually, running on time. So come on now, Maxine. Maxine, you could go ahead.
good morning, good morning. Okay, I'm just gonna give you guys a quick rundown. This one, I'm here on agriculture grounds on St. Croix, where the food is fresh and nice, nice, nice. We give thanks for that rain. So I'll let you guys know a few things that we have down here at the market: pumpkin, plantain, over 100 varieties of cucumbers. You guys seen those cucumbers? Over 100 varieties. I'll try to show you them right quick. Kale, collards, tomatoes, purple cherry tomatoes, green tomatoes, you name it, celery, parsley, beets, bananas, green peppers, eggplant, squash, eggs, sapodella. We have the chocolate fruit, we have breadfruit, star fruit, lettuce. There's custard apple, lots of custard apples, papayas, cherries. We have mulberry. Mulberry is bearing, guys. There's a lots of chives, jackfruit, coconut water, jelly, dry coconut, whatever you want. If you want just the water, you could get that there too. There's passion fruits also. If you're looking for your stews and your jams, while I tell you the rest, you could bear your eyes on these 100 varieties of cucumbers. Yes, these are cucumbers. Lots and lots of cucumbers, your stews, your pepper sauce, your pound seasoning, your coconut oil, your bush teas, your lemongrass, bay leaf, your mint, your food. If you're hungry, we got your bush tea, the pates, lots of variety of pate. We have them baked and fried. You could get chicken, turkey, conch, shrimp, veggie, lentil. Baked, you could get mushrooms, spinach, chickpeas. There's also roti. There's fresh bread being baked here in the morning, your bush tea, your coffee. Whatever you need, you could get it here at the Saturday market. So come on down this morning, each and every Saturday, 4:30 in the a.m. to 2 o'clock in the p.m. on St. Thomas, 4 o'clock in the a.m. to 4 o'clock in the p.m. at Market Square. And don't forget Bordeaux Market each and every second and last Sunday of every month. You can catch them on the west side in Bordeaux and get your fresh, locally grown food. Eat healthy. You know what I say all the time: eat healthy, eat local, eat fresh. It's the best way to go. As you can bear your eyes, and a lot more of these fruit farmers and vendors are out here this morning, fresh and ready for you guys. So come on down to the market each and every Saturday and get your fresh, locally grown food. And don't forget your value added products, guys. On the inside, we have lots of value added products: body scrubs, body lotions. We have clothes, shoes, African clothes. We have a different variety of stuff on the inside of our building you can get on the inside. So come on down to the market each and every Saturday. We are here once the sun is shining and God gave us life. We're here at the market. So come on down and get your fresh local produce as you see here today. Thank you, Nemi and the crew. Appreciate you guys. See you next Saturday, God's willing.
Hi, Max. Thank you so much. So don't forget, people, go on down to the ag fairground and get your local produce. They last longer in the refrigerator. Trust me. So this morning we're going to go right into it. I have, of course, my name is Nemi Jackson. I'm here every Saturday empowering you with information to help you make that transition to a better version of yourself. I'm here with my sister, Letitia Hurley. She's here keeping my company. In the absence of Debbie, wake up. We still want you to come on here down and keep our company. But I have some beautiful people with me this morning who's going to bring you some good information. I have Dr. Dante Galibe. He's no stranger to Mind, Body, and Soul. Of course, you know that. I appreciate his attendance here. And I have Kimmett Lewis. But of course, the woman is always the leader, and I have Miss Cassandra Dunn in here, and she will get into talking to y'all about this foundation. So, Cassandra, Dante, Kemet, you're on.
Well, thank you. Good morning, and thank you so much for having us. Anytime we want to talk about uh, a, a cancer journey, stories of survival, then we want to be in the room because we have a lot to say, and certainly in the memory of our founder, Yvonne Ashley Gallagher, the work continues. As many know, Yvonne passed May of last year, but she had visions, and from the very beginning formation of the Yvonne Ashley Gallagher Foundation back in 2006, where it was based on some things that she had observed when she was getting her treatment. And she would always tell the story that she was in the doctor's office and there was a couple, a man and a woman, that obviously needed health care, but they couldn't afford it. And the husband kept going back and forth to the desk to see how they could work out the expenses of paying for her care. And right then and there, she decided she was going to help to make it different when she got back to St. Croix for uh, her neighbors, her friends, the family. And so that's how she started out. And it has grown into an organization that we're very proud of and that we are here to do the work, to spread the word, to help lower the risk, to form coalitions with other organizations to make sure that collectively we fight cancer in the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that introduction. And yes, again, it's always my condolences for the loss of your loved one. So tell us about what's coming new, about this foundation, what you're bringing, how, what you're bringing for the members of this community, and then how they can actually join and
Okay.
get the information that you are so kindly willing to share.
Okay. So we are very excited about the upcoming Breast and Prostate Cancer Conference. And the theme is Linked by Genes, United by Hope. And the reason that we decided to do that is that we haven't had enough conversation about our medical histories, our legacies within our families. And so we don't always understand where our cancers come from, how we can look forward to sort of lower the risk in our families. And we definitely want to get the conversation going. They used to say that cancer was the big C, but really communications is the big C. We have to talk about it. It can't be a secret any longer. So our conference will be next week, Friday, April 24th, and Saturday, April 25th. On the 24th, we start at 8 o'clock with breakfast because, remember, we got to get the day started with something nutritious. And so we will have opening remarks after that at 8:45. The conference is free. Admission is free. Breakfast and lunch every day are free. There's no reason not to be in the room, right? So on Friday, we do open with a number of good speakers. Of course, Governor Bryan will bring opening remarks, as will Commissioner Encarnacion, Department of Health, and we do have some others that will open. And then we get to our speakers. The first one will be Dr. Lauren Bates, and she's coming out of the University of South Florida. And she is a breast cancer survivor, someone who got breast cancer under 30. And so she'll have a lot to say about how to meet the need to be sustainable in your community. She's traveled all over the world and she's seen cancer throughout the world, and she has done research in how we could be more sustainable in our communities, including even what we just heard about, good eating and all that good food that's available at the market. So, and so we will be She will be starting the talk about the cancer continuum, which includes prevention, then early detection, treatment if necessary, and survivorship. And with her, she is bringing her adopted daughter, who is 6 years old, that will be presenting as well, because she is going to talk about losing her mother to breast cancer. And because of that, I think that she'll present on the Saturday. Lauren Bates will present on the Friday. But I think, it kind of brings it home that this affects families of all ages. And we want to get that conversation going. We also will have Dr. Zena Peters. Dr. Peters was born and raised here. She is a psychologist. She'll be talking about the emotions of meeting cancer. Our bodies change. We may today have breasts and tomorrow we don't. Or, if we have prostate cancer and we had surgery or whatever, we may not perform how we thought we should. And we want people to understand that not everything is based on body image and what you thought should be before you have cancer. Because you must understand you're still good people and you still have a lot to offer and you still deserve the support and comfort of your family and your caregivers.
Yes, for sure, for sure. A lot of people don't realize, just getting sick is not only a physical adjustment. Mental adjustments are necessary for survival.
Exactly.
Yes, so go ahead. We're excited to continue to listen.
So moving on, Dr. Simeon Jaganoff. He is a medical oncologist, and he will be speaking about women and men's breast cancer. Now, men, for some reason, think, they don't have breasts, and so they'll never get cancer, but that tissue is there. And so they need to be able to understand how it can affect their families, how it's okay to talk about it, and definitely that they can get treatments as well. And maybe should think about getting mammograms and taking it from there, because we must stay on top of their situation as well. We'll be talking a lot about genetic inheritance, and a father with prostate cancer can pass it on perhaps to his daughter through a mutant gene that went wrong, the BRCA gene. We all have that, but it's how our body may misstep a little in passing it down. So a father might pass prostate cancer on to his son or to his daughter as breast or ovarian cancer, according to the research. And a mother with breast cancer might pass it on to her son as prostate cancer, according to the research, as well as to her daughter as breast or ovarian cancer. So we have to understand the genetics of the disease. And then we're having re-energizing sessions. We have someone who is very good at yoga, and she's getting ready to be certified as an oncology yogi instructor. So she'll be re-energizing the group right after the delicious lunch that we're planning to provide. Again, on Friday, we also have a panel with Dr. Jermaine Owen, a family physician on St. Croix, who's written several books. And Dr. Owen is particularly special in her field because she does house calls. And, especially for elders, she has told us about having patients over 100 years old that here on St. Croix, that it gives her pleasure to really give them health care and all. And, my mother-in-law is 99 years old, and Dr. Owen comes to see her. And so, and she could get around, but she loves the house visit kind of thing, because that's something we may remember from way long time ago. And so, Dr. Owen feels good about that. And she also wrote a book about caregiving, because not only do we have to think about the patient, we have to think about those who give.
The
And
caregivers.
that's a hard job.
It is.
That is a hard job. And so we'll be closing the day with Dr. on Friday with Dr. Dwayne Thwaites. He's out of Antigua, and he's coming to talk about breast cancer in the Lesser Antilles. So he practices in Antigua, in the BBI, and other places. He's a certified oncologist, and so he'll have a lot to say. And so that's day one, right? And then we move on to day two. We'll be starting a little earlier that day. And by the way, while you're listening, you're getting really excited, you can go to yagfoundation.org and register.
Yes.
Okay. There'll be a window that pops up. It'll take you right to the registration site, and you'll see all this laid out, and you can sign up, and we'll be happy to welcome you on Friday at 8 o'clock. But Saturday, we're starting a little earlier. We're starting at 7:30. It's also a full day, so come early, come for breakfast again, get to meet the presenters and mingle with the other attendees, tell your story or hear some stories and really get the feeling going that day. And we'll be having Jay Jones, Dr. Jay Jones. She is a homegrown, right? And she now works out at Emory. She's a leading oncologist, and she will be talking about the risks of breast cancer. But she also wants to talk about clinical studies. And that is an opportunity for people to get involved in research across the nation, across the world, so that we can find out more about what's going on by getting the stories and tracking patients and all. And you don't have to necessarily be, she's coming from Atlanta. You don't have to be in Atlanta to be part of a clinical study. So she'll be talking more about that. And then we also will have on that day our Real Talk, Real People panel. And we have had conferences before, and this has always been a popular time. So Senator Frankie Johnson will be joining us. He is a prostate cancer survivor and not shy about talking about it. So he will be on the panel. Also, Michelle Gibbs. Michelle is a great supporter of YAG Foundation, and she is a triple negative breast cancer survivor. And for Black women, that cancer is really a challenge, and she survived it twice. So we are very happy to have Michelle there. On that panel also will be the young girl that we talked about, the 6-year-old, and joining them will be Rena Siro, another breast cancer survivor here on St. Croix. We'll have Dr. Bradley Charton, who's also out of Emory. He'll be talking about prostate cancer. Dr. Jennifer Chang Wade, she'll be talking about alternative cancer care. So Chinese approaches, natural healing. You're going to have to be at her session. And once again, after that, we'll have Miranda Woods re-energizing us with chair yoga. Dr. Angelo Gallagher, he will come in after lunch, and he'll be talking about cancer screening and what's new in the field, why it's so important. Some men still feel the only way to detect prostate cancer is with the digital exam, but instead give a little blood. It'll be worth it to find out if you have prostate cancer, and early detection is certainly the key. And
you said give a little blood, so we're coming back to that.
Okay. All right, we'll come back to that. And then certainly we are closing it out with just a wonderful, and this is only for the registrants to the conference, a wonderful closing reception at the Caribbean Museum Center. And I forgot to mention Dr. Kanuma Simmons will be on one of the earlier panels, but at the reception, all those line dances you've seen online that you really want to know how to do, Kanuma's going to teach you.
Oh,
Okay, so come on through. And we'll also have live music, bars and
That's
denim
at the Caribbean Museum.
Center, right? And for registrants of the conference, and that'll be from 5 to 9. So we'll have heavy hors d'oeuvres there, and we'll end those 2 days feeling really good about the conversation that happened. We'll have more vision. We'll renew our mission. We'll ask people to join us on the journey towards reducing cancer in the territory. And hey, it's going to be good.
Yeah, that's great. That's wonderful. Just empowering individuals with information to make better health decisions. That's what we're about, and that's the message we want to give out. And here it is, YAG is coming with information from different angles, so many different speakers, But before we take question or anything, I have two wonderful men in the studio. So let's hear from either Kemet and or Dr. Galabir for any information that you're contributing. And I'm quite sure Kemet could tell us about, the psychological part of recovering from any challenge. So Dr. Galabir.
Hi, good morning. I'm Dr. Dante Galabir. I was privileged to have been married to Yvonne. We were married for about 31 and a half years. And she was a trooper. She really did address the cancer head on. And, she had a tough go of it, especially the second time around. But the first time around, she did exceptionally well. And she skated right through chemotherapy and radiation therapy, and she was active and what have you. And I think, with her foundation that she developed, she basically started on her own. And I was, when she came home, she said that she wanted to do this, and I was like, let's just take care of this cancer and forget about it. But I'm really glad that she stuck with it, and because it was really to help other people and not just herself. And she created a legacy, so she expressed her cancer diagnosis to the entire world, and she really did tackle all of the challenges that she had. So.
Okay, and Cassandra, go ahead.
Well, we know Kemet is a perfect picture of survival, and not as a cancer survivor, but he is one of our board members. And so we invited him here with us to just talk about,
Being strong.
And so, Kemet, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, all. Morning, Nemi.
Morning.
The rest of the VIs. Happy to be on this morning. Happy to join Cassandra and Dr. Galagbear to promote the conference next weekend. I hope you guys make the effort to get there and take everything that you can from the 2 days that are packed with information and activities, ways to network, to meet people, to talk stories. One of the things Cassandra was intentional, and the team organizing the conference was intentional about doing, was the private chat. So if you don't wanna, if you're hesitant to ask your question to help support, there are avenues where you can communicate and questions be kind of afraid to ask in public. So there's over the weekend that I think will.
Okay, Kemet, I'm gonna ask you to, I guess, try and stay still because the voice is coming out very chopped, so it's difficult to understand. Go ahead.
Yeah, just wanted to encourage folks. I hope it's coming in clear now. To attend the conference and take what you can, because there's a lot happening over the 2 days. And I think especially on St. Croix, we understand healthcare there, and we understand, I've personally seen in Florida many people in the Cleveland Clinic or in other spaces up there. So I think especially at home, we need to be diligent about our healthcare. Yeah, I hope that was a little bit more clear.
So based on your experience, and Cassandra, if I can start out with the questions, and right after we come back from break, we'll definitely be taking questions or getting information from the listening audience, but we're not there yet. Kemet, I don't know if you want to introduce or just say a little about your challenges and letting individuals out there know, how strong you had to be of the mind in order to go through your challenge.
Sure. Yeah, I think most on St. Croix at least know my story, have heard it, but almost did not make it out of 2019. Bacterial infection turned to septic shock. Vasopressors were administered to take the oxygen in my body concentrated to my organs, and it did so by stripping them from my limbs. I woke up in Florida 2 weeks later in a coma, or woke up from a coma and learned that I would need amputation on all 4 limbs. And it's been a journey. I credit being a stubborn Capricorn with me coming out on the other side with a smile on my face. I credit the fact that in high school my superlatives were most ambitious, most likely to succeed, and shortest, but we don't talk about that one all that. And I credit the support network that I had from the Dr. Hamilton, originally from Jamaica, the ICU lead at Broward Health, that assured my parents that I would make it, that assured me that I would be back on the tennis court, dancing and diving again, and made sure that I had access to the best doctors that they had for care and for surgery there. The network of my family, my friends, I appreciate that I'm privileged in that sense, that I had not only I landed in Florida 20 minutes away from where my brother lived and where my mother was currently, that my friends Charisma, Nadia, Jendai, Christiana, you guys have heard a lot from those 4 women, rallied behind me and brought the entire community of St. Croix. I hear stories of the Wang F. Louis ER that night where it was packed with people that were coming to say goodbye. And fortunately, I'm still here. I'm doing all of the things that Dr. Hamilton assured me I would do, including diving again. I'm working in my field again. I'm currently working with the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, in the DC headquarters in Silver Spring, where I get to stay connected with home because most of the projects in my portfolio that I manage are coastal restoration projects in the Virgin Islands with the partners like the Nature Conservancy and the University of the Virgin Islands. Many projects in Puerto Rico, total of 27 projects in my portfolio that go from St. Croix across the U.S. over to Hawaii. And so the idea that I'm able to get back to all the things that I love, including the community projects that I hold dear to my heart. I learned about YAG from Yvonne playing the tournaments on St. Croix, and was fortunate to win a few of them with my buddy Chris. And I remember many conversations. Yvonne convinced me to dye my beard pink one year. It was supposed to be the entire month, but we compromised, and it was for the dance event, the marathon, and full pink beard. And after everything that happened, invited me to be on the board, and I, without hesitation, was happy to tell her yes, that I would be on the board and to help support in whatever way I could. And so yeah, happy to be here. Happy to encourage people to, as I mentioned before, come to the conference next weekend. But beyond that, think about and find ways to support the organization, and whether that's through volunteering, whether that's through writing a check, whether that's just through spreading the word, so that I think the important thing is that everyone on St. Croix, everyone in the Virgin Islands knows that there's a place where you can send a friend or a loved one, or go to yourself if you have questions, if you have concerns, if you receive a diagnosis. The YAG Foundation is there to support you in a number of different ways. So.
Well, thank you so much. Well said. Very good presentation. And summing it up, it's just basically saying that illness is not a death sentence. Okay, it's a fight that we all go through at some point or another, but it's past that time, and we're going to take a break. And when we come back, this is where we invite you to call in, ask questions, tell us a little bit about your story. You have 3 minutes because time is short. So we don't allow anyone to really hag the line out, because we want to make sure that we get everyone that opportunity to call in and weigh in on the conversation. When we get back, the number to call is 340-773-0390, 340-773-0490. And you're listening to WSTX 970 on your AM dial from St. Croix, Virgin Islands.
When you're not talking, you'll hear all your favorite songs, including calypso, jazz, love song, gospel, and those country legends. Giving you more music variety. This is AM 970 WSTX.
Come check out Freedom City Service Station. Wanting a friendly gas station where you can pay at the pump? Looking for a spot with specialty coffee, pastries, and breakfast on the way to work? Thinking about a place to get some local food or a sandwich for lunch? Waiting for a comfortable convenience store where you can get a couple of items and a bottle of wine on the way home? Dreaming about smoothies for a tasty pick-me-up? Needing a cake and caterer for an event? Well, Freedom City Service Station is your new go-to. Open from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. We are located at the Wim intersection on Queen Mary Highway. Our phone number is 340-719-2014. That's 340-719-2014.
Are you a caretaker of an elderly person? If you are, we at I-9 Senior Supplies and Delivery may have just what you need. We sell and deliver senior supplies at an affordable price. Call us at 340-626-4849. Again, that is 340-626-4849. We'll take care of you.
She's the best choice for all our we. Strong leadership, commitment and honesty. North 2050 election. We vote with them. We vote with them. 2060 just come down. We vote with them. We vote with them. We vote upon enemy. Vote upon enemy. Vote upon enemy. Vote upon enemy. We vote upon enemy. Vote upon enemy. Vote upon enemy. Vote upon enemy.
Paid for by family, friends, and supporters of Nettie Jackson.
AM 970 WSTX, and more continuous music variety. The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views or opinions of WSTX, its owners, advertisers, employees, or management. Email us your comments at WSTX@VIRadio.com.
Hi, this is Nemmy Jackson, inviting you to tune in to WSTX 970 AM every Saturday, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. to Mind, Body, and Soul, where you can join me with discussion on healthy living. Good morning, and welcome back. I just want to read some of this comments on Facebook. Several page. This person indicated before Kemet has been blessed and truly has a testimony. And Ilma Rogers just want to let you know that she's saying good morning. Ilma also said, Cassandra is an asset to our community. You are a prayer warrior, and the Lord will keep you healed.
Thank you for
You
that.
know, I mean, that's great.
Thank
Carmelita is just saying, you know, she's listening. So I just want to thank y'all for tuning in. Let me see. Okay, that's about the only two comments. So Dr. Galavia, we're back, and before we go to the phone line, I just want to encourage you to hold on for a little while. Don't hang up. Dr. Galavia, I think Cassandra said you have some information.
So so I'm a cardiologist. I have a practice at the Heart Center PC and also work at Wanley Hospital. But there is an intricate relationship between cancer, especially breast cancer, and cardiovascular disease. And some of the risk factors that we find, or some of the complications that we see in patients who receive treatment for breast cancer, or even have breast cancer, or that they can develop coronary artery disease, disease of the blood vessels of the heart. And so they could have heart attacks or ischemic cardiomyopathies where they have lack of blood supply to the heart. They can also develop fluid around the heart. We call it pericardial effusion, which can be a medical emergency where we have to drain the fluid by using a percutaneous needle, place a needle into the chest and remove the fluid. That can be life-saving as well. We've had a couple patients like that, not necessarily with cancer, but with other ailments such as hypothyroidism. Also, they can develop arrhythmias like atrial fibrillation, which is one of the most common arrhythmias that we see in the United States. And typically, the complications or the risk factors for that are hypertension, old age, cardiovascular disease, and what have you. So we can see these ailments that we typically saw just with cardiovascular patients. You can see in patients who have had breast cancer. One of the issues that we have is congestive heart failure. And we have a new term, relatively new term called HFrEF, or heart failure with reduced ejection fraction. And those individuals have ejection fractions of less than 40%. And so we have to address those individuals with specific medications originally designed for patients without cancer. So with individuals who have cancer, who develop poor function of their heart, they're placed on the same medications as well too. So I have a number of patients in my practice that I address these issues with certain medications such as Entresto or beta blockers, diuretics as well too. So there's an intricate relationship between the oncologist and the cardiologist to ensure that these patients get appropriate cardiovascular care, because they may not succumb to their breast cancer, they may succumb to cardiovascular disease too. And so cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer in the United States and worldwide as well. And so we have to address their cardiovascular needs too. So really it's a tandem relationship between the oncologist and the cardiologist, of course, with the patient as the center focus.
So, I mean, basically it's really taking care of yourself. But you know me, I believe in alternative care, which is non-conventional, but not only with cancer, but just basically the side effects that comes along with trying to get better. So let's take it to the phone line.
I do have to say that Kemet will have to drop off. He has to get on the tennis court. Okay, so he's asking.
Well, thank you so much, Kemet. I really enjoyed having you here.
Yeah, no worries. I'll try to hang for at least 1 or 2 questions, maybe 5 or 10 more minutes. But
okay, thank you so much.
Good
morning. Thank you for calling.
Yes, good morning, Emmy and crew.
Good morning.
Yes, the lady that spoke first, and dear guest, good morning.
Good morning.
With regards prostate cancer, I had a brother that died of it about 3 or 4 years ago. And because of that, I suspect my doctor is having me check now every 6 months rather than once a year. And so far, so good. I hear the digital exam, but the doctor said that I mean, even with the blood, the digital shows exactly how this thing is growing out the shape and all of that. And to Dr. Galabel, let me say quickly, I met you back in the 80s at Centennial Restaurant. We had lunch. And I told you about your grandmother and St. Thomas. That was the music teacher. I don't know if you recall that.
Well,
But anyway, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no, well, thank you. Yeah, it's there were actually 4 of us, and so you may have met my brother, but your memory is a lot better than mine. So I trust you. But, so,
one of you.
Okay. Well, thank you, Emmy, and keep up the good work. This show's very informative.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And the individuals that come on.
Yes.
Yeah. They really do a good job in empowering you with information so that you can make that decision relative to your health.
Yeah. One
very important. Muy importante.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
You do the same.
Thank you.
The statistics nationwide are sort of similar for breast and prostate. They say 1 out of every 8 women will get breast cancer in her lifetime. And it's similar for men. 1 out of every 8 men will get prostate cancer in his lifetime. This year, they project that over 300,000 women will get prostate cancer and almost 300,000 men. No, I'm sorry, 300,000 women will get breast cancer and almost 300,000 men will get prostate cancer.
Wow.
So we have to
be proactive.
We have to be proactive.
Good morning. Thank you for calling. Good morning. Okay. That person hung up. All right. Please do call back. We're actually trying to get to the lines as soon as we can. So I told you we had to go back. Oh, blood. I was told, I think as recent as last week, and I don't know if Dr. Gallagher is not an oncologist, but I just want to know, have you heard anything about actually having a choice of not doing the painful mammogram, but there's a blood test that you can take now that will be able to detect if you have cancer? Is that true?
I mean, there are blood tests. I'm not an expert in that area, but definitely imaging is key. In other words, you need to image the breast to determine if and where the breast cancer is. And because, again, breast cancer begins as a single cell, and like all cancers do. But then it grows and, of course, multiplies. And so you'd have to know where the breast cancer is so that you can do surgery and remove that tumor. And of course, the surgeons will do lymph node dissection to determine whether it is spread locally. And, other imaging is done, especially, bone scans or PET scans to determine if somebody has metastatic disease to the bones, or CT scans of the chest to determine, the abdomen to determine if they have metastatic disease to the lungs or to the liver as well. So I'd say that in terms of blood testing, typically if there's blood testing that can be determined, usually the cancer is spread by that.
Okay. So I mean, I'm so sorry, but I just cannot wait for the day that we will have a test, definitely, where we don't have to go through the painful process of mammogram. And then the biopsy, I definitely, Cassandra, I'm not sure, but we really, maybe you can get me to get someone to really speak about the biopsy, because there's so many different conclusions about the biopsy when it comes to cancer. And I have read, several places where biopsies encourage the spread of cancer. So we need to make sure that our people are informed so that they would make that decision whether they want to get cut or whether they want to do the biopsy.
Right. So be there on Saturday at 12:45 because Dr. Angelo Gallagher will be talking about cancer screenings and, what may be the alternatives and all. As you know, Nemi, I'm a 4-time breast cancer survivor. And even though blood did not necessarily detect my cancer back in 2009, it every year that I get my annual PET scan and checkup, they use it. They use my blood to determine if the cancer may be evident and or returning, and so there is room in there for blood testing and all, and so not so much right now for early detection, but it will come.
Yeah, and I get what Dr. Gallagher is saying. They can give you that blood test if it's spreading, but if it's confined to an area, it'll be very difficult to determine if the cancer is actually in your body. So we don't have any calls right now. I'm not sure why the individual didn't call back, but definitely we have about 10 minutes left.
Yeah.
So what I would like, Dr. Gallagher, what message would you like to leave? What will your wife want them to know?
That's a very good question. I think that Yvonne would want everybody to be healthy and to address the issues at hand. In other words, if you have, as humans, we have a risk of cancer or disease, and she would want people to get screened. And so I think one of the key tenets of her foundation was screening, and actually it was the major tenet of it to determine. So knowing is half the battle. And tissue is the issue. You have to get tissue to determine whether you have cancer or not. When we see masses on chest X-rays or CT scans, we may surmise that it is cancer, but we have to get the tissue to determine what it is. And so I think Yvonne did a miraculous and great thing by having a foundation. It was the first grassroots foundation for breast cancer in the Virgin Islands, and she would want this foundation to continue forever, so that individuals, who span, her relatives, her daughter, her friends, other individuals who visit the Virgin Islands would get the benefit of the heroic work that she did from 2005.
That's great. Let's go to the phone lines. Good morning. Thank you for calling.
Yes, Nami, since you didn't have a call, I wanted to add something, as if I may.
Yes, you can.
Yes, sadly, in September, early September, I lost my wife in Houston to breast cancer. She beat it about 30 years ago, and they claim that when it comes back, or if it comes back with a vengeance, and it attacked her in February. And she could not shake it. I mean, she practically gave up. She couldn't. The pain was too much, and So again, it is very, very important. Whether it's the blood, the mammogram, whatever tests there are, women, please go. I love my women to death. Please go and get your test. Of course, I understand, and I'll be corrected. Men can get breast cancer as well.
Correct.
Yes. So, men. And right now I'm touching my chest.
Good. On our website, yagfoundation.org, and we also give out hand cards. We teach you how to do that self-breast exam, men and women. So it's so important.
Yes.
Yes, and the guest there, the lady, what you say her name is again? I keep forgetting her name.
Cassandra Dunn.
Oh, that's Cassandra Dunn. Of course, that's Cassandra from back at one point today.
I knew that was coming from somebody. The power to.
You said that you beat it 3 times?
4 times, sir. Metastatic. I live with metastatic breast cancer. Yeah. And
God bless you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for calling.
Yeah.
Yes. So Cassandra 4 times. I didn't know that.
Yes, and different profiles. So they do have me in quite a number of research projects at Memorial Sloan Kettering. That's where I got my treatment and all. And so, you know, we know that you can survive. We know that nutrition is important. And by the way, I wanted to mention that Dr. Letitia Henry will also be joining us on a panel for nutrition. That is so important. And but you have to believe. So
You have to believe.
You have to believe. Father Christian Bruce from St. Thomas is going to be talking about keeping the faith, right? And how important it is. I know, you know, people have different ways of approaching it. I love music, especially oldie but goodies. I used to get up every morning and dance. I would just dance, you know, before I went to treatment or just to start the day, because that's the way I wanted to deal.
But what I did was, you know, they said that laughing is therapy.
Yes.
And I watched the Cosby
Oh,
every
God.
day.
Oh, boy.
That was part of my therapy.
Okay.
You know, so whatever makes you smile.
That's right. That's what you have to
You
do.
know.
So, number just really quickly, I just want to
I was
mention.
in what you're going to say.
Go
I
ahead.
was coming to you.
Okay.
So, you know, while you're saying what you're saying, make
Uh-huh.
sure you're closing, because
Yes.
we don't
And
have
this
much
is
time.
closing.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to mention that Dr. Regina Flippin, she's a board member, but she's also a foot and ankle specialist. But she has a master's degree in cannabis care. And so she will be talking about demystifying the use of cannabis for recovery, right? We also will have, I did mention Dr. Letitia Henry. I wanted to mention that our sponsors, we're very grateful to them, the Virgin Islands Public Finance Authority. They have been great, very generous in support. And most recently, the VI Lottery came on. And so thank you to both Mr. Simmons at PFA and Mr. Williams at the lottery for getting us through there. And I do want to mention just the hardworking people that are helping us put this together. Our board members, of course, include Dr. Sarah Mayhurt, Dr. Flippin, I mentioned, Kemet, I mentioned, Attorney Dwayne Henry. Who else? I know my board members, but I think I have it already here. But and Lavon Wise, she's not our board member, but she is helping us with this project. But our additional board members are Dara Hamilton and Dr. Darrell Hamilton, Leslie Webb Keith, a lot of people would know her as the victim's advocate, and Dr. Pat Morris, who works with the Community Impact Fund, UVI RT.
And that's, you know, and that's great. And we just want, go ahead.
Somebody wants you to give your phone number
Yes.
so that they can donate.
Yeah.
Okay, that's that is Letty. She's not on the mic. I'm not sure if you heard her, but just transferring something from Facebook to Cassandra about giving the information for
Yes, yes, absolutely. So if you want more information about the conference, you can call 939-240-1257. If you want more information about YAG Foundation or the link to register, go to yagfoundation.org. If you want to send a check, and we're always grateful for that, you can donate on the website, or you can send it to P.O. Box 356, Christiansted, VI 00821.
Okay, and I just want to read this information from Ilma Rogers, and it's disturbing for me. You know, she's saying that well, I know it's not yourself. I'm not sure if it's your brother, but she's saying they need to more staff so that they can get results faster. She took a mammogram on February 9th and she's still awaiting the results. You know, I always say, and this is to Ilma, you know, no news is good news. However, it doesn't absent the fact that we need response timely. You know, so.
So I've recently spoken to Dr. Gallagher about that, Dr. Angelo. Really overburdened, which in a way is, you know, a good sign that people are trying to get their mammograms, but we know the waiting is hard. So he even indicated that they're hoping to bring help on soon, to be able to be as responsive as possible. It is him. It's him at the hospital and it's him at the imaging center. So yeah, we need another radiologist to come on board. And so those are some of the challenges, but the point is well taken.
Okay, yes, you know, and when I read that, I was like, okay, let me get that out. You know, because there are people out there who believe in prevention and they want to make sure that they do what is necessary in order to get the treatment. So go ahead, Letty. I know I have not yet. Oh, that's what you were saying for them to wrap up. Well, I believe they did. Dr. Gallagher, any final words?
I just want to thank everybody on the panel, and you know, I think this is a great another step for Yvonne's foundation and Yvonne, of course. You know, so I think that, you know, healthcare was central to her as well, and you know, central to Virgin Islanders and really everyone. So
yes, and I thank you. You know, I know it's a challenge. 31 years is not 1 year, and pushing her dream ahead is so admirable. And Cassandra, wrap it up.
Hey, we look for everyone to come on out. You know, it's 2 days, Friday and Saturday. I know some people will need to work on
Did
Friday.
You say where?
You know what? I was just getting ready to say that. Thank you for the reminder. We will be at the University of the Virgin Islands and the Great Hall. And we'll also have chat rooms for men only and women only, breakout rooms. So you can have that more intimate conversation if you feel like you want to talk to one of the presenters or one of your fellow attendees. And so be there next Friday, next Saturday, April 24th, 25th, 8 o'clock on Friday, 7:30 on Saturday. Come for breakfast, meet the presenters, meet the attendees, stay with us, and we'll make sure that we fill you with knowledge, good feeling, hope, and we will be united by hope.
Yes, on that note, you've been listening to Mind, Body, and Soul on your 970 on your AM dial, WSDX. We are aired every Saturday from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. I invite you to follow our Facebook page, listen on YouTube, and comment. Let us know how you're enjoying our show. We'll be back on next Saturday. Thank you and have a wonderful Saturday.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank y'all. Very good show.
Thank you.
Very good information.